I'm Neil Ronahan here with Seth Killian from Capcom to talk about Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, which is coming out in the launch window for Nintendo 3DS on March 27th. First off, how have the gameplay and the controls benefited from being in 3D?
Well, the gameplay is basically unchanged. So the 3D aspect is more of just a visually fun new way to look at the game because, we're proud of the gameplay we have, so we haven't tried to make adjustments specifically for 3D. But in terms of the look of it, yeah, that's what really lets it pop. So the characters really pop out of the screen. Everything's vibrant and really fun in the new dynamic over-the-shoulder kind of view, or you can play in the traditional mode. But the controls, I think, are really what show off some of the fun of 3DS. So you use the touchpad, and the touchpad, there are sort of two control schemes. So there's what we call light mode and pro mode. Pro mode is actually more traditional, what people will be used to, where you have to do the special move inputs manually. But in light mode, which is customizable by every character, you can assign special moves or even ultra combos to a single button press. So for anybody that's ever been interested in Street Fighter but thought the game might be a little too technical for them, or I like Street Fighter but I can never do the one move that I know I need to do to win, 3DS edition is going to be the one that you're going to really keep your eye on because it's a lot of dirty fun.
Do you think that because, I guess, of the simpler controls that it'll turn away maybe some of the more hardcore Street Fighter fans? Do you think they'll stick to the console or the arcade games instead?
Well, we've thought about them as well. So you do have the pro mode controls that you can use the traditional kind of inputs. And when you're playing online, you can actually filter those players. So you can select to play only against other people who are playing in the pro mode or in the simple mode. But I'll say this is my promise to the hardcore players, of whom I am one for sure. It's easy to be snooty about this mode, but you will try it and you will have more fun than you'll ever admit because it is a lot of fun, especially like characters like Zangief that I'm not very good at playing, especially on like a pad. Really challenging for me, but with the simple mode, I can do everything I want. So my strategies are in place. I know what I want to do, and I don't have to worry about the execution anymore. It really opens the door.
Do you think that things like Spot Pass and Street Pass will take off in North America in a similar way that they probably are more likely to take off in Japan?
I think people will enjoy it, especially at things like cons or whatever. If you're at maybe a Street Fighter tournament or one of our fight clubs or even like a Penny Arcade Expo or something like that, I think there's going to be a lot of people cruising around. So, I mean, if you're here in New York City, you might find a subway car with some fellow travelers with the 3DS. If you're out in a more rural area or spread out in traffic in LA or something, maybe not as much. But what's nice about the Street Pass functionality, especially for Super Street Fighter 4 3D edition, it's a mouthful, is that it's totally passive. So you can configure your figurines and get your team sort of ready to go into battle. And when you open it up, you just find the results of some matches. And, so it's a feature that's there to whatever degree you happen to interact with it. And it's fun without doing anything at all.
And as far as the figurines go, could you explain, I guess, exactly how that works and why it's fun?
Well, there's plenty of collector freaks out there, so it's fun just because you've sort of different figurines. There's 500 figurines with all sorts of poses and different powers and skill levels. And basically, you unlock the figurines by doing in-game things or in the main game, and then you can unlock the figurines. You can also do it at certain events like Ono-san at the Japanese 3DS launch showed a code that you could unlock a gold Chun-Li figure with. You can also trade the figurines. But basically, they all have statistics, sort of like power, strength, speed, super combo, ultra combo, stuff like that. And you can assign points. You can play with their statistics a little bit. So you might have 300 total stat points that you can assign along different categories. And you can power up the different characters and then pick a team of 5, and then they go into combat against somebody else's Street Pass characters. So I always want to say it's not Magic the Gathering kind of level of complexity, but there's a little stuff you can do, and it's fun, and it's totally passive. So, and you can, after you find out, I beat 2 people and lost once, you can go back and actually watch the match and maybe see what happened and make an adjustment to your strategy going forward. But it's just fun.
And lastly, how does the DS download play, or I guess 3DS download play as it will probably be called, how exactly does that work, especially the stuff where like the host player can give a downloadable version to the game to 2 people who don't have the game and they can play each other? Are there limits to that?
Not as far as I know. I believe you can give it to as many people as you want or as often as you want.
And use all the characters, or is it?
No. So, the limits to that in game are you're only allowed to play one character as someone who's sharing the game. So actually, it would be Ryu. So you can play him, and it's basically to get your feet wet. So you can play the game, see how you like the controls, see what it's like, and again, as you mentioned, I can give it to 2 people that don't own it, and then I can get on my bike and ride away, and those 2 people can still play even when I'm not there.
Like a really forward-thinking demo.
It is. It's exactly what it is. So it's a demo that you can play, but you can play online, and it's really fun.
All right. Well, thank you very much.